Have you ever wondered how a single small act of kindness can change your entire life? Imagine being so down on your luck that you struggle to pay for your own meal, yet someone you barely know decides to help you, not knowing that this moment will define their future forever. Today's story is exactly about that. A struggling waitress, a simple act, and a twist of fate that no one saw coming. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that like button, share this story with your friends, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss these amazing tales of hope and kindness. Our story begins in a small, humble diner on the edge of town. It wasn't a fancy place by any means, worn-out tables, flickering neon lights, and the kind of place where regular customers knew your name and your struggles. In the midst of all this was Mia, a young woman in her early 20s who worked as a waitress. She wasn't just any waitress. Mia was a fighter, a survivor. Every day she showed up with a tired smile, trying her best to serve food and earn enough to support her little family. Mia's life was far from easy. Her parents had passed away a few years ago, leaving her to care for her younger brother and their small apartment all on her own. She worked long shifts at the diner, sometimes skipping meals herself just so her brother could eat. She dreamed of better days but was trapped in the cycle of bills, rent, and endless responsibilities. Most nights she lay awake wondering how she would manage to keep going. One chilly autumn evening, the diner was quieter than usual, the scent of fried food mixed with the cold air drifting through the cracked windows. Mia wiped down tables, hoping for one more customer to bring a little extra cash her way. Just as she was about to close up, the door creaked open and a man stepped inside. He looked worn out. His clothes were old and patched, his face tired, but kind. He sat down at a corner table, quietly glancing at the menu but not ordering anything right away. Mia noticed him immediately. There was something familiar about his eyes, like he carried a story that wasn't told. Minutes later, he asked for the cheapest meal they had, barely able to meet the price. Mia could see the hesitation in his voice when he asked if he could pay in small installments or if she could possibly help him. Mia's heart went out to this man. She knew what it was like to struggle, to feel invisible, to be weighed down by life's hardships. Without thinking twice, she quietly told the cook to prepare the meal and then handed the man the bill. "This one's on me," she said softly. The man's eyes widened in shock, but he didn't refuse. There was a tear glistening in his eye as he muttered a heartfelt thank you. That night, Mia walked home with a lighter step, feeling warmth, despite the cold. She didn't expect anything in return. For her, kindness was a currency richer than money. But little did she know this small gesture was the beginning of a life-changing journey. Days passed, and life went on in its usual rhythm. Mia continued to work long hours, juggling shifts, bills, and the care of her brother. But fate, as it often does, had other plans. The man she helped that night returned to the diner more than once, each time leaving Mia puzzled by his presence. He wasn't just an ordinary customer. He was someone who seemed to watch her, quietly admiring her strength and kindness. Then, one afternoon, Mia's world tilted on its axis. The man walked up to her, introduced himself as Mr. James Carter, and revealed a truth that left her breathless. He was a successful businessman, the owner of one of the largest companies in the city, a man who could have anything he wanted, but who had chosen to hide behind worn clothes to see the real people, the real struggles. Mia's jaw dropped. She remembered that night, the meal she paid for with her last dollars, and the man she thought was just another struggling soul. Now here he was, offering her a chance she never dared to dream of, a job in his company, an opportunity to escape the cycle of hardship. At first, Mia was hesitant. Could this be real? Was this some kind of trick? But Mr. Carter was sincere. He believed in her because of her kindness, her courage, and her unwavering spirit. He told her that sometimes life tests us in unexpected ways, but those who give without expecting can be rewarded beyond measure. As Mia walked out of the diner that day, a new chapter began. She felt hope stir in her heart, a fragile but growing flame. She wasn't just a struggling waitress anymore. She was someone with a future, Of course, the road ahead wouldn't be easy. Adapting to the corporate world, learning new skills, and overcoming doubts would be her next challenges. But Mia was ready to fight for her dreams. If you're enjoying this story so far, don't forget to smash that like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more heartwarming stories like this. Your support means the world and helps us bring these inspiring tales to more people. In the next part, we'll dive deeper into Mia's journey as she steps into a world she never imagined, full of surprises, challenges, and life-changing moments. After that unforgettable day when Mr. James Carter revealed his true identity, Mia's life was anything but ordinary. The world she had known, the worn-out diner, the constant struggle to pay rent, the endless shifts, suddenly felt like a distant memory. But stepping into a brand new life was not as simple as it sounded. The next morning, Mia woke up feeling a strange mix of excitement and nervousness. She'd never imagined herself walking through the doors of a big office building, wearing something other than the faded clothes she usually wore. Her hands trembled as she got ready. She borrowed a blazer from a friend, paired it with a modest skirt, and tried to look as confident as possible. Inside, though, she was full of doubts. She wondered how the employees would treat her. Would they see her as an outsider? Would she be able to keep up with the fast-paced environment? What if she failed? The weight of uncertainty pressed heavily on her heart, but one thing kept her moving forward: the belief that this was a chance she could not let slip away. When Mia arrived at the company's headquarters, the building's grandeur took her breath away. Glass walls reflected the bright morning sun, and sleek cars lined the driveway. This was a world she had only seen on television or in magazines. She hesitated for a moment, then reminded herself that this was her new beginning. Mr. Carter was waiting for her at the entrance. His smile was warm and reassuring, as if he could sense all the mixed emotions she was feeling. "Welcome, Mia," he said kindly. "Today, you start a new journey." The first few days were overwhelming. Mia was introduced to teams, shown around the expansive office space, and given a mentor who patiently guided her through her new responsibilities. Unlike the diner where she was a waitress serving food, here she was learning about management, customer relations, and the intricate workings of the business world. Mia was a quick learner. Despite her lack of formal education, her natural intelligence and willingness to work hard stood out. Her mentor, Sarah, often praised her determination. "You have the heart of a fighter, Mia," she told her. "That will take you far here." Still, the challenges were real. Mia struggled to understand some of the technical jargon and the speed at which things moved. She often stayed late, reviewing notes and asking questions. There were moments when she felt out of place, moments when she questioned whether she truly belonged. But every time she felt herself faltering, she thought about the night she gave the meal to the man who turned out to be her boss. That simple act of kindness had brought her here. It was a reminder that good things come from good hearts. Outside of work, Mia's life was changing as well. Her brother was now going to school regularly, his backpack filled with supplies she could now afford to buy. The tiny apartment they shared felt lighter, filled with hope. For the first time in years, Mia dared to dream about a future beyond just surviving. But life wasn't just sunshine and new opportunities. Gossip spread quickly in the office. Some employees whispered behind her back, skeptical about how she had landed the job. "She's just the waitress who gave him a free meal," they said. "What does she know about business?" Mia heard the murmurs but refused to let them get to her. She knew that earning respect would take time. She worked harder, stayed patient, and proved herself through actions, not words. Slowly, colleagues began to see her as more than just a lucky recipient of Mr. Carter's generosity. One day, an important project came her way. It was a chance to manage a small team and coordinate a campaign that could boost the company's community outreach. Mia felt a surge of pride and nervous excitement. This was her moment to show what she could do. She spent hours researching, planning, and preparing presentations. The nights were long, but she stayed focused. When the day came to present to the board, Mia stood in front of the room, heart pounding, and shared her vision with clarity and passion. The board members listened intently. When she finished, applause filled the room. It was a turning point, proof that she was no longer just the waitress, but a valued member of the team. Meanwhile, Mr. Carter watched Mia with growing admiration. He saw her potential and knew he had made the right choice. He often told his trusted friends, "Mia's kindness is her greatest strength. That's what this world needs more of." But as Mia's life was changing, she never forgot the importance of humility and gratitude. She continued to volunteer at the local shelter, sometimes even slipping away from the office to help those in need. Her heart remained connected to the struggles she had faced. One evening, after a long day at work, Mia returned home to find a letter waiting for her. It was from a woman she had helped months ago, a single mother struggling to find a job and care for her children. The letter thanked Mia for the kindness she showed and shared how that small gesture had inspired the woman to keep going and eventually find stability. Mia held the letter close, tears streaming down her face. She realized that her journey was not just about her own success, but about lifting others along the way. If you're touched by Mia's story and believe in the power of kindness, please like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more inspiring stories. Your support helps spread hope to those who need it most. Mia's life was quickly shifting from a humble existence at the diner to a new world full of opportunities and challenges. But the transition was far from smooth. Just as she was starting to feel more confident in her role, new obstacles began to appear, ones that would test not only her abilities, but also her spirit. At work, the initial admiration for Mia started to fade among some of her colleagues. A few senior employees weren't happy about someone with no formal business background being promoted so quickly. They whispered about favoritism and questioned whether Mia truly deserved her position. One afternoon, while Mia was reviewing documents in the break room, she overheard two employees talking quietly. "She's lucky Carter gave her this chance. Without him, she'd still be serving coffee." Another added, "She doesn't know the first thing about managing a team. It's only a matter of time before she messes up." Mia felt a lump in her throat. For a moment, self-doubt crept in. But then she remembered all the nights she spent learning, all the sacrifices she had made, and the people who believed in her. She took a deep breath and decided not to let negativity break her. Determined to prove herself, Mia focused on improving her skills. She took online courses on management, communication, and leadership. She asked questions constantly, sought feedback, and worked harder than ever before. Slowly she began to earn respect, not just from her boss, but from many colleagues who saw her genuine effort. However, the workplace wasn't the only place where Mia faced challenges. Her personal life was also demanding. Balancing her new responsibilities at work with caring for her younger brother, who was still adjusting to school, was difficult. Sometimes she felt stretched too thin, like she was holding too many things, together with fragile threads. Money, though better than before, was still tight. Mia had to be careful with every dollar. She found herself skipping meals or taking public transportation to save money. The pressure weighed heavily, but she refused to give up. She knew this was her chance to build a better future for herself and her brother. One day, an urgent issue arose at the company. The community outreach campaign Mia had helped launch was facing criticism. Some local leaders claimed the campaign was superficial and didn't address real problems. There was a backlash on social media, and Mia found herself at the center of a storm she hadn't expected. She was invited to attend a community meeting to answer questions and listen to concerns. The experience was intimidating. People were skeptical, and some voices were loud and angry. Mia had to remind herself to stay calm and listen carefully. It was clear that despite her best intentions, there was much more work to do. Mia realized that good intentions alone weren't enough. To truly make a difference, she had to build trust and create meaningful connections. Over the next weeks, she worked closely with community leaders, organizing forums and events that allowed people to share their stories and needs. Slowly, attitudes began to shift. Throughout this time, Mr. Carter remained a steady support. He encouraged Mia, provided resources, and advocated for her when others doubted. "Remember, Mia," he said one day, "true leadership is about listening as much as it is about leading." Mia took his words to heart. She learned that leadership was not about commanding from the top, but walking alongside others, understanding their struggles and working together toward solutions. At home, Mia's relationship with her brother grew stronger. She made time to help him with his homework and listen to his worries. She knew how important it was for him to feel supported. Their small apartment echoed with laughter and hope, a stark contrast to the silence and fear they had lived with before. One evening, Mia received a call from the shelter where she used to volunteer. A family she had helped was facing eviction. Without hesitation, Mia arranged donations and coordinated with local charities to help them. It was a reminder that her journey wasn't just about personal success, but about lifting others. Despite the setbacks and the stress, Mia found joy in small victories. She remembered the night she had given that free meal to a man who turned out to be her future boss. It was a moment of kindness that had opened a door, but it was her courage, perseverance, and heart that kept her walking through it. If you find Mia's journey inspiring and want to hear what happens next, please like this video, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more amazing stories. Your support helps spread hope and kindness to many. Mia's world was changing rapidly, but nothing prepared her for the challenge that was about to come knocking at her door. Up until now, she had faced obstacles with grit and grace, learning to balance the demands of her new job, her responsibilities at home, and the expectations of the community. Yet the next test was unlike any she had encountered. One crisp autumn morning, Mia arrived early at the office. The sky was a pale blue, and the leaves rustled softly outside the window. She was preparing for the quarterly board meeting, a crucial event where she would present the progress of their community projects to the company's senior executives. This was her moment to shine, to show that she was not just a lucky break, but a capable leader. As she reviewed her notes, her phone buzzed with an incoming message. It was from Carter. "Urgent. Need to see you ASAP. Come to my office." Curiosity mixed with a flutter of nerves. Mia quickly gathered her things and headed toward the executive floor. When she entered Carter's office, she found him standing by the window, his face serious. "Mia," he began, "there's a situation you need to know about. One of our largest investors is threatening to pull funding because of recent controversies linked to the community outreach program. They're saying the campaign is not delivering the promised results." Mia's heart skipped a beat. She knew how much this funding meant to their projects. Without it, many of their efforts would stall, and the community support they had built would crumble. "What can I do?" she asked, her voice steady, despite the fear inside. "We need a new strategy. Something concrete that shows measurable impact. You'll be leading this initiative. It's a huge responsibility, but I believe in you." The weight of those words settled on Mia's shoulders. She felt both honored and terrified. Could she really pull this off? Determined to rise to the challenge, Mia dove headfirst into research. She reached out to community members, local organizations, and experts in social work and urban development. She spent long hours analyzing data, collecting stories, and identifying gaps where their programs could improve. The work was exhausting, but fulfilling. Each story she heard, each person she met, reinforced why this mattered. It was more than just a job. It was a mission to create real change. Yet not everyone was supportive. Some critics saw Mia's youth and background as weaknesses. Gossip spread about her ability to handle pressure. "She's over her head," they whispered. "This will be her downfall." But Mia refused to listen. She reminded herself that every leader faced doubt at some point. What mattered was persistence and vision. With Carter's backing, Mia organized a series of community forums. She invited residents to share their experiences openly, to speak about what they needed most. The forums were emotional, sometimes heated, but they revealed valuable insights that helped Mia shape a clearer, more targeted plan. One breakthrough came when a single mother named Jasmine shared her story. Jasmine struggled to find reliable childcare, which made it difficult for her to keep a steady job. Mia realized that addressing this issue could unlock many other benefits for families like Jasmine's. Mia worked tirelessly to partner with local daycare providers and secure funding to expand affordable childcare options. It was a complex process involving negotiation, paperwork, and coordination, but slowly, progress was made. Meanwhile, Mia's personal life continued to be a balancing act. Her brother was growing more independent, but he still needed guidance and support. Mia cherished their nightly talks, where they shared dreams and fears. These moments reminded her why she worked so hard to give him a better life. Just when things seemed to be looking up, another unexpected challenge arose. A major supplier for the company announced a sudden price hike. This threatened to increase costs across all departments, including the community outreach budget. Mia had to scramble to find ways to adjust without sacrificing the programs that were already fragile. She held meetings with vendors, negotiated terms, and brainstormed alternative solutions with her team. It was exhausting and stressful, but her determination never wavered. Through it all, Carter remained a steady mentor. He encouraged Mia to focus on solutions, not problems. "Leadership isn't about avoiding storms," he said. "It's about learning to sail through them." Mia took those words to heart, becoming more confident with each obstacle she overcame. She began mentoring junior staff, sharing her journey and encouraging them to believe in their own potential. Outside work, Mia found moments of joy in simple pleasures: morning coffee with her brother, walks in the park, and occasional phone calls with friends who reminded her she wasn't alone. But the real test came when the day of the board meeting arrived. Mia stood before the executives, her hand steady despite the butterflies in her stomach. She presented their new strategic plan, highlighting community stories, data-driven goals, and innovative solutions. Her voice carried passion and clarity. She didn't just share numbers, she shared hope. After the presentation, there was silence. Then applause. The CEO, who had been skeptical, approached Mia with a smile. "You've done remarkable work," he said. "This is exactly the leadership we need." Mia felt a wave of relief and pride. This was more than a win for her. It was a victory for the community she loved. That evening, as Mia walked home, she thought about the journey from waitress to leader. It had been filled with uncertainty, fear, and hard work, but also kindness, support, and growth. She knew there would be more challenges ahead, but she felt ready. Mia's life was finally gaining some stability. After months of relentless hard work and determination, she was seeing the fruits of her labor. The community programs were flourishing, local families were benefiting from the expanded childcare services, and the company's executives had grown to trust her leadership. But just as she was settling into this newfound rhythm, life had another curveball ready to test her strength in ways she hadn't imagined. One rainy evening, as Mia was closing up her apartment, her phone rang. It was her younger brother, Jason. His voice trembled on the other end of the line. "Mia, I messed up. I'm sorry. I don't know what to do." Mia's heart tightened. Jason had been struggling quietly for weeks, trying to balance school and part-time work, but something felt off. She rushed to his place without a second thought, the streets slick with rain, the city lights reflecting in puddles like distant stars. When she arrived, she found Jason sitting on the floor, surrounded by unopened bills and eviction notices. The weight of the world was written all over his face. "I lost my job," he confessed, "and the rent is overdue. They're going to kick me out." Mia felt a surge of protectiveness mixed with frustration. She had worked so hard to keep their lives stable, but Jason's troubles threatened to unravel everything. "Okay," she said firmly, pulling him into a hug. "We'll figure this out together." Over the next few days, Mia juggled her demanding job with the urgent task of helping Jason. She contacted social services, applied for emergency housing assistance, and even reached out to friends for support. But the system was slow, and the pressure mounted. At work, Mia threw herself deeper into her projects, determined not to let her personal challenges affect her professional responsibilities. Yet the stress was palpable. Sleepless nights and worry gnawed at her. One afternoon, Carter called her into his office. The serious look on his face made Mia's stomach knot. "Mia," he began, "there's been an unexpected development. One of our biggest donors has withdrawn support, citing concerns about financial management in the outreach program." Mia felt the ground shift beneath her feet. This was a devastating blow. Without that funding, several initiatives would have to be scaled back or canceled. "I'm so sorry," Carter continued. "I know how much you've invested in this. We need to come up with a plan, and fast." Mia nodded, swallowing her frustration. She knew this was part of the journey, but it didn't make it any easier. That evening, as she sat at her kitchen table surrounded by paperwork and bills, Mia felt the weight of the world pressing down. She thought back to the day she had paid for that customer's meal at the diner, a small act of kindness that had unexpectedly changed the course of her life. Now, she faced a moment where that kindness needed to be matched with resilience and strategy. Mia reached out to local businesses and community leaders, pitching the value of their programs and seeking alternative funding. She hosted fundraising, events, organized volunteer drives, and tapped into social media campaigns to raise awareness. The community rallied around her, inspired by her passion and authenticity. Slowly, new partnerships formed. Grants were secured, donations trickled in. But the journey was far from over. One particularly challenging day, Mia received a call from Jason's school. He had been caught skipping classes, and the principal was concerned about his well-being and future. Mia felt a pang of guilt. She had been so consumed with work and community projects that she might have missed signs of Jason's struggles. Determined to support him, Mia arranged counseling sessions and met with teachers to create a plan to help Jason catch up. She also spent more quality time with him, sharing meals, talking about dreams, and reminding him that he wasn't alone. Through these efforts, Jason began to improve, his grades stabilizing and his attitude shifting. Meanwhile, at work, Mia's leadership was gaining recognition beyond the company. Local news outlets featured stories about the success of the community programs, highlighting Mia's role. Invitations to speak at conferences and panels poured in, positioning her as an emerging voice for social change. Despite the accolades, Mia remained grounded. She never forgot the days when she struggled to pay rent or put food on the table. Those experiences fueled her commitment to helping others in similar situations. One evening, after a particularly long day, Carter stopped by Mia's office. He handed her an envelope. "What's this?" Mia asked. "Open it," he said with a smile. Inside, she found a letter from the company's board of directors, offering her a permanent leadership position with expanded responsibilities and a significant raise. Mia's eyes welled with tears. This was validation, not just of her hard work, but of her potential to make a lasting impact. She called her parents to share the news. Their pride and joy were palpable even over the phone. As Mia looked around her modest apartment that night, she felt a deep sense of gratitude. The journey had been difficult, filled with heartbreak and setbacks, but it had also been rich with love, kindness, and growth. She thought about the stranger she had once helped at the diner, never imagining that moment would lead her here. Life was full of unexpected turns, and sometimes the smallest acts could change everything. To everyone watching this story unfold, remember that no matter how hard life gets, kindness, resilience, and faith can open doors you never dreamed possible. The offer from the board was more than just a promotion. It was an opportunity for Mia to truly change the trajectory of her life, and the lives of many others. But with this new responsibility came a tremendous weight of expectation. As much as she celebrated the milestone, she knew the real work was just beginning. Mia took a deep breath and thought back to where she had started. She remembered the days when every penny mattered, the nights spent wondering if she'd be able to make rent, and the moment in the diner when she'd chosen kindness over hesitation. That single act, seemingly insignificant, had set her on a path filled with trials, triumphs, and transformation. Now, as the newly appointed Director of Community Outreach, Mia was determined to honor that journey by building programs that were not only impactful, but sustainable. She understood that change was never easy, especially in communities where resources were scarce and trust had been broken by years of neglect. The first order of business was to meet with her new team. These were people who had been working tirelessly, often behind the scenes, to support families and individuals in need. Mia listened carefully as they shared their challenges: funding shortfalls, bureaucratic red tape, and burnout. "I know, it's hard," Mia told them, her voice steady and filled with conviction. "But what we're doing matters. Every life we touch is a victory, and I'm here to make sure you have the support and resources you need to keep going." Together, they strategized ways to expand outreach, forge new partnerships, and engage volunteers. Mia also prioritized transparency and accountability, recognizing that trust was essential to building lasting community relationships. Meanwhile, Jason continued to thrive under the renewed attention from his sister. With counseling and mentorship, he was catching up in school and even joined a local youth leadership program. Mia felt a profound sense of pride watching him grow into a confident young man. One afternoon, as Mia was preparing for a major fundraising gala, she received a call that shook her to the core. Her mother was hospitalized after a sudden stroke. The news hit like a thunderclap, and Mia immediately rushed to the hospital. Seeing her mother frail and vulnerable stirred a deep well of emotions. Mia realized how fragile life was and how much family truly meant. The weeks that followed were challenging, balancing work, fundraising, and being there for her mother's recovery. During this time, Carter stepped in as a pillar of support. His belief in Mia was unwavering, and their professional relationship blossomed into a genuine friendship. "You don't have to carry this alone," he told her one evening as they reviewed gala plans. "We're a team, Mia, and you're stronger than you think." The gala night arrived, and the venue buzzed with energy and hope. Local leaders, business owners, and community members gathered to celebrate the progress made and to pledge support for future initiatives. Mia took the stage and shared her story, the struggles, the kindness that sparked change, and the vision for a better future. Her words resonated deeply with everyone present. After the speech, a familiar face approached her. It was the man whose meal she had paid for years ago, Carter, her future boss turned friend and mentor. "I never forgot that night," he said, softly. "You showed me what true compassion looks like. It inspired me to be better." Mia smiled, the memory flooding back. "I had no idea you'd become such an important part of my life." As the night wound down, Mia felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude. She had come so far from the struggling waitress who dared to help a stranger. The journey had been filled with hardships, but it had also been rich with moments of grace. In the months that followed, Mia expanded the outreach programs, secured new funding sources, and became a beacon of hope for her community. Her story inspired others to act with kindness and resilience. Looking back, Mia knew that it wasn't just the big moments that defined her journey, but the countless small acts of courage, love, and faith. She understood that everyone's story was a thread in the fabric of humanity, connected by compassion and the desire to make a difference. As you've listened to Mia's journey, remember this: no matter where you come from or what challenges you face, a single act of kindness can change lives, including your own. Thank you for joining us on this incredible story. If Mia's journey has touched your heart, Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring stories that remind us of the power of hope and humanity. Stay kind, stay strong, and never underestimate the impact you can make.